Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to
California Gleb.
Yeah, welcome back to Two Dudes Talking Motorcycles. It's been a minute because if you didn't catch the last episode, we did skip a week because we both went on a quick little Memorial Day trip to San Francisco.
We even posted a cute little picture on the beach.
Yeah, took it together. And yeah, just a little getaway.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an awesome trip.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
We went out to the Muir Woods. That was probably my favorite
That
part.
was your highlight.
Yeah, that was my highlight. And the roads that we drove on out there, I was like, these roads would be amazing on a motorcycle because they're perfectly twisty.
Yeah.
Twisty, narrow, not too much traffic.
I think we could spend like an entire episode just talking about the roads if we were able to get our bikes on those.
Oh, 100%.
Like, if you don't know, like we're out near the Muir Woods in Marin County.
Marin County, near Sausalito.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Across the bay.
Those
such a
roads,
great little town.
Yeah. And those roads are so twisty and like, they're well maintained too.
They're well maintained
like, for the most part.
It looked awesome. Anyways, yeah, welcome back to Two Dudes Talking Motorcycles. I am Gleb, and you can follow me on Instagram at Gleb Lapham.
And I am Mitch. You can follow me on Instagram at Meets to the Beach.
And you can follow the podcast on Instagram at tdtmotorcycles. And you can also email us at tdtmotorcycles@gmail.com. Feel free to email us your comments, concerns, questions, feedback, anything you can think of. Yeah, and
all the good
welcome
stuff.
back to the show.
Yeah.
Before we get started even more, we wanted to give a huge shout out to one of our listeners named Derek. Derek contacted us almost like a month ago now.
Yeah, it's been about a month now. Yeah,
it was just about over a month, and he was gracious enough to offer to make us a free theme song for free and then a logo as well, and he wouldn't take any money for it. So Derek, we're still willing to pay if you're listening to this, but yeah, thank you so much. We are the logo looks fantastic.
It looks
posted
awesome
on our socials later on, and at the beginning of this episode, you probably heard the new theme song. So
I guess they would have at this point.
Yeah. So Derek, thank you so much, dude. Yeah. We're super thankful for the logo and for the songs, for the music.
And yes, and if you want to find him, it looks like he goes by Glenarvon. And he's at glenarvonmusic.com, and looks like he's got his info page up here as well. So yeah, Derek,
and
killer work, dude. Also
at Glenarvon Music on Instagram as well.
Oh yes.
And we'll also link his socials and his all the socials that he sent us and his website down below in the description. So if you need someone to make music for you, a logo or anything like that, go give Derek a visit or just give him a shout out for doing this for us. So Derek, thank you so much.
You killed it, man.
Yeah,
you really did.
You did a great job, and thank you. Yeah, we're super grateful. Anyways, so back to those roads were amazing.
Yes, they were.
And I want to go ride there. So this was kind of a hectic couple of weeks for both of us between the trip. And then I had a super busy week at work last week. I had a friend visiting in town. So I was just all over the place last week. And I did not have too much time to research any topics in depth.
No.
And yeah.
Me either.
So this episode is going to might be a little bit of a kind of an all over the place episode, but we'll make it do. So hopefully stick around and listen. And the first bit of news we wanted to go over is lane filtering. So Minnesota became the 5th state to legalize lane filtering just a few weeks ago. And we're lucky enough to have lane filtering available here in Utah.
Yep.
And the other states that have it are Montana, Colorado. Oh, Colorado has it? I didn't even know that. Okay. Oh, yeah, they did pass that last year.
Yeah.
So Montana, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Hawaii. And then we also got California, which also has legalized lane splitting and not just filtering. Mm-hmm. There are a handful of states that are considering adding lane filtering laws. And then there's also a few states that don't really have a law specifically prohibiting it. So that one's kind of a more of a gray area on if you're breaking the law or not. But I'm a big fan of lane filtering.
It's handy.
It's really handy, especially when it's hot in the summer like this or driving through city traffic. it's nice to be able to kind of get in front of the line of cars. And it has been shown to significantly reduce motorcyclist injuries and fatalities because it reduces it reduces the number of times you can get rear-ended. It reduces the amount of motorcyclists getting rear-ended by cars and being either thrown into the car in front of them or into something else.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty much getting ahead in the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been nice to have here. And I know, like, even just like 2 or so years ago, they were even they were considering repealing it, and it stayed. Yeah. So
it stayed. It did not expand any, which I was hoping it would in the last like legislative session, because my biggest gripe with it is it's, at least here in Utah, I haven't looked to see where it's how Minnesota's looks, but so here in Utah, for example, so on our roads, you can only lane filter if a road has 2 or more directions of travel in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
So minimum 4 lane, or minimum 2 lanes in the same direction.
Yep.
It can only be on roads less than 40 with a speed limit of 45 miles or less. It can't be on the freeways. It can't be on like on ramps.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it can be in turning lanes or not, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think,
you can't. Yeah, because same direction. So if you have more than one turning lane, you can do it.
I always lane filtered and left turn lanes.
So it's nice that it's there, but it's also kind of limited to like not a whole lot of places.
Yeah.
And the traffic has to be stopped. It can't be moving at all.
You can't have rolling traffic.
Yeah. So basically limited to like stoplights on roads that are like on bigger roads, but with still smaller speed limits. And that can exclude a lot of roads around here, which I think, and I'm going to kind of like argue for, it would be nice if Utah increased that speed limit threshold to like something that's 55 miles an hour, because there's a lot of roads that are 55 miles an hour that still have stoplights and have like 3 or 4 lanes of travel in the same direction. Like if you are in the area like Bangor Highway, Redwood Road, a lot of those got massive roads, 55 mile an hour speed limits.
You can't lane split.
But you can't lane split. Even legally, if the traffic is, or lane filter. Which kind of defeats the purpose, because you want to be able to do that on the higher speed limit road, because that rear end collision is going to hurt a lot more at higher speed. So it's kind of like this weird, like it's there, but it's not quite where it should be, I feel like. Also, I feel like it would be great if they also made it legal to filter on the freeways and heavy traffic.
Yeah, like if you're in a standstill rush hour traffic. Yeah. Like, if you're...
I don't see the point of not being able to lane filter, because then, once again, you're still being at risk of getting rear-ended by some guy paying attention behind you.
So, it's like whenever your feet are on like an interstate road, you're it's just like... Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like this feeling at all.
No, I don't like it either. I would like to be moving consistently.
Yeah.
So I did find here Minnesota's law. So I'll just read this. It's from ADV Rider, and they quoted the bill. The bill amends the law of Minnesota to permit lane splitting for motorcycles under certain circumstances. Lane splitting refers to the practice of motorcycle driving between lanes of moving stationary vehicles. The bill introduces parameters for this practice, such as speed restrictions. It is only permitted when the speed of the motorcycle does not exceed 40 miles per hour and the speed difference between the motorcycle and other traffic does not exceed 15 miles per hour. In addition, the bill requires implementation of statewide public education campaign to inform drivers and the general public. Let's see. The
way I heard that is like, so if you're on a road that's 40 miles per hour and you're going to filter on that road.
No, it's not 40 miles. So the motorcycle can't exceed 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
So what I'm interpreting that as is the traffic can still be moving.
Yeah.
But
it's like a hybrid of splitting and filtering.
Yeah. So the traffic can still be moving. You just can't be moving 15 miles an hour faster than the traffic. And the traffic can't be moving faster than 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
In general.
You can't exceed 15 over to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so that's actually pretty cool, because I think, that's basically what I was saying just now. Like, it would be nice if you could do it like on the freeway or other places where it would work. So just a quick correction. So the proposed law, so they legalize it, but it's not going into effect until July 1st of next year.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's just to give people enough public education and awareness and do it. So kind of sucks that's a year out, but at least it's happening. So congrats, Minnesota. That's pretty sweet. I know also that Montana's lane filtering law is kind of a similar way.
Yeah.
You can do it if traffic is moving. If I remember right, in Montana, you can do it if traffic is moving 15 miles an hour or less, and you can't exceed going like 15 miles faster than traffic. But it can also be done on like single or just 2-lane roads. So you can split like between cars, even if the other lane is going in the opposite direction. So kind of very similar to what a lot of countries in Europe have.
And
stuff where you can kind of cut down through the middle of cars.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
and honestly, I don't even think this should be a controversial thing.
I
it
don't
should just
get
be
it.
like a nationwide thing. And I mean, I'm saying that obviously because we ride motorcycles and it's beneficial to us, but it's really beneficial to not only motorcyclists for safety and convenience, but also for drivers, because then you don't have a whole motorcycle taking up space in front of you.
Yeah.
So you can get, maybe through the light faster or anything like that. It's always funny to me when people treat like driving on the road like you're in some fucking race trying to get somewhere. They're like, oh no, this motorcycle is getting in front of me, he's cutting in line. I'm like, dude, it's not a line.
It's like
you're standing at a red light.
Well,
man up, get a motorcycle and you can do it too.
Well, I don't get like with the rage behind it. Maybe rage isn't the right word, but like it just seems to me that like whenever someone's is like, say, hey, like it's a win for motorcyclists, it's a win for traffic. It'll reduce traffic. Motorcyclists can get where they're gonna go faster, get out of your way, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like it's like, oh well, so we both get reduced traffic, but you get to get where you're getting faster and I don't, so I don't want it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's like you're getting another sandwich and I'm only getting one.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it, man.
I'm just like, okay, well, you're in a car, you have air conditioning, you have a radio, and you have comfy seats. We both, you got something going on there too.
If you're in Utah, you probably got a swig drink or something.
Yeah.
So like just sit back and enjoy.
Holders. Yeah. I can't drink while I'm riding a motorcycle. I got no cup holder.
Yeah.
I could probably stuff it in one of my new Moscow bags though. Little those side pockets.
Dude, let's just for our trip to Tahoe, let's just all buy like those like handlebar mounted cup holders.
Next thing you're gonna say, you should get Harleys next. Just kidding.
Hey, we still need to ride them.
We do need to ride them. Someone in Utah, hit us up with a Harley, please.
Actually, we do know somebody with a Harley who might be willing to let us ride it.
Who?
Riley.
Oh, okay.
He got it running.
All right.
So
all right, cool. So we'll try to get another.
We'll see what goes on there.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it's just a net benefit for both drivers and riders, because it helps reduce congestion. It helps motorcyclists avoid getting rear-ended.
Yeah.
And it frees up more space for cars on the road because the bikes can just get ahead. Bikes are smaller. They're more nimble. They can do it. So might as well just let them.
Yeah.
And if you're a rider, just please don't be an asshole while doing it. Don't go like grazing people's mirrors. Do it carefully. Be confident in doing so. And if the space looks too small, don't go through it, because if you break somebody's mirror, one, you'll probably hurt yourself too. But
it's just going to be a whole issue.
Yeah, it's just going to be a whole issue, and it just creates that bad image that people have, like, oh, this guy cut between two cars and my mirror scratched my mirror or something like that.
Yeah.
Just be aware about it. But
I mean, yeah, and like it's just the age old rule, like handlebars width. Like, if your handlebars can get through, you can. If they can't, just don't bother. But
unless you have panniers, then whatever, however wide those are.
Yeah, as long as they're not as wide as your, as long as they're not as wide as your handlebars, you're okay. But yeah, the like even I was lane splitting and I just had a bad judgment, and I just barely, and I caught it, so I was able to stop, so I didn't like do any damage or anything. But like my handguard bumped like the side of someone's mirror, and I stopped. I looked at my handguard, no mark. I looked at their mirror, no mark. And I just like, visor up. It's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And he's like, is it scratched? I'm like, no, look, even my bike's not even scratched. It's like, and he's like, the guy, all he did was cool.
Yeah. And I do really appreciate when drivers also move over for you.
I always do that when I'm in my car.
Yeah, me too. I had drivers kind of like scooch out of the way for me, give me a little bit more space. So props to you if you're a driver and you do that.
Oh, since you left a day earlier than I did from California, on our way to the airport, there was a motorcyclist coming up behind me.
Oh,
and so he was behind me for a while, and we were moving. And once he got actually like directly behind me, like it's California traffic, so we're crawling. I just like slowly moved to the left, let him through.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's just like
it doesn't.
He's not going to the airport. Like we're not fighting for a parking spot. Like I don't care.
And it's not like it costing you anything. You're stood there anyways. Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter if he's there or not. Like if it gets him out of here and eases up traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So. Like lane splitting, it's like a whole other animal. That's pretty much where you can just do it.
Yeah.
Anywhere. I don't know. I mean, if I was in California, I'd probably do it, to be honest. But I would not do it like some of the speeds that I've seen people do it.
Oh, it's insane.
Where they're just hauling at like 100 plus miles an hour in between cars. That's not safe for you or
dude, even like
else.
40, 30 miles an hour is like still pretty dangerous considering.
If it's that narrow of a space, like it is kind of a lot. But I do think more places should have filtering laws in place because it's just a good thing to have.
Yeah, and like a splitting law doesn't have to be like balls to the wall. You can go wherever you want, as fast as you want, and as long as you're lane splitting. It's like just go through at a certain speed.
Yep. Nice and steady.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
I have a friend who's done it. They've this person they're caught in standstill traffic in the middle of nowhere in Utah, right? And it's just beating hot, just super hot day. And just sitting there in line, this individual that decided to lane split just to get up to the next exit to like get into some shade and get some gas.
Yeah, it is.
'Cause it was 100+ degree day.
Yeah, it gets really hot on those days. And if you have an air cooled bike, that could be downright like the bike could break down even at that point, because if it's not getting enough cooling, that's not a good thing for it either, especially with how hot it gets here.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Utah to allow you to filter on highways, higher speed limit roads, and also maybe like in more rural areas on like 2-lane roads. So then at least you can avoid some of that traffic or kind of get ahead of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we've all seen Utah drivers, so
yeah,
we'll
actually about that, Gleb, with speaking of Utah drivers, what's been some of your experiences lane filtering? Have you had anything?
I haven't had too many bad experiences lane filtering. I had a guy in the Tesla one time try to race me off the starting line. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna race you. I don't care. Yeah, like I literally could not care less.
I'm on an adventure.
I don't know
bike.
why you're looking at me. Yeah, and I did have a like a Subaru Outback one time try to like basically get ahead of me off the red light.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, bro, I'm on a motorcycle. You're in a Subaru out. Like the speed difference here is quite big. Yeah. You're not gonna get ahead of me if I don't want you to.
The Subaru.
Yeah. I don't even know why you're trying, but I think it was one of those cases where dude was just like angry that someone is next to him.
I don't get it, man. I really don't get it.
It's so stupid. I haven't had any like bad interactions though, lane filtering for the most part.
I haven't had face-to-face interactions, but like I've had people like I'm lane filtering up to the light. Yeah. And a car like they turn in to stop me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
My dad had somebody like open the door on them to stop them.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I remember like when the law first came into effect, I think it was like the first 2 or 3 weeks it came into effect.
Oh, people were losing their shit.
There was like a viral video of like motorcyclists like filtering a traffic light, and this guy in the Tesla like opened the door and was like telling you can't do that, and the guy's like, yeah, I can. They just legalized it literally like a month ago. It became legal, and the guy's like, no, that didn't happen. It's like, yeah, it did. Also, it's not your job to enforce traffic laws.
You're not a cop.
Yeah. Exactly. Like that's the police's job. If you have an issue, report the biker. Cool. Yeah. But it's not your job to enforce the law.
Yeah.
We have police for that, and that's their job.
Speaking of laws, if you want to impede my freedom of movement, then we can call the cops too for that. So,
yeah, like, that's also true.
If you really want to escalate,
or if you open the door and I slam into it, then we'll have another issue, especially if you did it intentionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have too many bad experiences, but every time I filter, I'm always just like eyes focused. I am just looking for someone to either make the wrong move or something like that.
Yeah.
So I have enough time to stop my bike or like maybe change lanes or something like that.
Well, and I think, I hope in like in a real world situation where that happens to me, like somebody like wants to like, they stop me again and they want to and they yell at me or like they try to be, oh, you can't do that. I'm hoping I can just be very calm and polite and just be like, actually, it is the law.
Yeah.
You look it up legal on your phone.
Yeah.
Now you need to get out of my way, please. Otherwise, this is going to get worse.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't get it.
You're going to be late to where you're going.
Yeah.
I'm going to be late to where I'm going. Let's just call it good.
People just get so uptight about not being the first
it's like
in the line of traffic.
Yeah. Like if you want to be if you want to be a cop, one, go to the police academy, and then two, learn your freaking traffic laws.
Yeah.
Like you're not a cop.
Exactly.
Don't stop motorcyclists. Like,
and then, lane filtering. Let me know if you're a listener from outside the States, let us know what it's like in your country. What are your country's laws like? I know a lot of European countries, at least, I think, allow it.
Yeah.
And if you're in another state, start contacting your legislatures and making it legal.
Let's make this the norm for the
US.
Let's
make it norm for everywhere and Dude, Canada too.
Actually, just on this topic of like lane filtering, lane splitting, do you know who I have like just like the absolute utmost respect for just on a day-to-day basis is London motorcycle riders. Holy crap. Like the traffic in London, like the roads are so narrow, it's all twisty and everything they have there. Like when I was in London, I was like, there's no way I'd ride a bike in here. And people are just zipping in and out, and not just motorcycles. Like there's mopeds, you know, like
people just adapt to it, and then I think because more people do it, more people expect it and look for it. Where here, motorcycling is treated like as a hobby, but like those places, it might be something that's your only way of getting around.
Yeah.
And people have more people just have a motorcycle.
It's a practical vehicle. Yeah, like whether it's a motorcycle or a moped or something.
Anything.
But no, like, and I'm trying to think of the YouTube channel. I think it's like the London Scrambler or something like that. And it's a guy on like an older Bonneville Scrambler.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Dude, that traffic he's riding through, like props.
Yeah. Like, literally. There was one like viral TikTok reel that I like where it's like a motorcyclist. He's filtering between cars, and there's one of the big London double-decker bus parked there, and the driver is like sticking his hand out the window, telling the bike to slow down. The bike stops right near the stop front of the bus, and there's a pedestrian on the other side of the bus, and the pedestrian is basically like motioning the motorcyclist like, oh no, you can go through it, and the motorcyclist like, oh no, you go ahead, and the guy just like nods at him and walks across. It's just like common courtesy and stuff. Like the bus driver gave the warning to the motorcyclist like, oh hey, by the way, there's like something here, you should you should stop or at least slow down. And then the guy was like, oh, okay, cool. We figured this situation out without having to like bitch and moan about it. Yeah.
So I'd always like worry about like driving in another country where it's on the opposite side of the road in like the UK, and like
tricky.
So like, but I feel like if I was on a bike, it wouldn't be as tricky. I just got to remember like, okay, which left is right is left for me.
Yeah. You just have to remember which side of the road you're on.
But in a car, it's
it's a whole different game. Yeah. I've done it twice now and it feels weird. It felt weird both times. When I was in Ireland last year, there was a roundabout that I got stuck in that I had to do 3 loops around because it was a weird roundabout because it was like very oblong, so you couldn't see all the exits out of it.
Oh, I see.
And it also had a traffic light on one of them because there was like an off ramp from a like a bigger highway.
Okay.
And so I stopped at the stoplight, and I needed to get over like 3 lanes to take the exit onto the highway. But I didn't realize that I was in the wrong lane for that, and I didn't have enough time to get over, so I had to go again, and then I didn't get over again because I made a mistake and I was in the wrong lane, and there was cars stacked up, so I couldn't get over in time, so I had to go again. And this time, as soon as I got past the second light, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to get in the outside lane.
If you were on a motorcycle, maybe you could have navigated through that a little better.
I could have just filtered through it. You just have to remember to go the opposite direction, basically, and that's it.
But no, like, again,
not
in
opposite
London,
side of the car.
Yeah, as far as like splitting and filtering goes, like, again, why it's a big issue here, I don't know. Yeah. But like, over in London, people are just zipping around like, hey,
it's kind of impressive to watch. Yeah.
It's pretty brave, honestly. Like,
it's even crazy when you see like a big GS or something do it.
Yeah. I saw so many GSs in London too.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
These massive vehicles, like double the size of some of the cars.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our little take on
Yeah.
on filtering, and I hope more places do
Yeah.
accept it.
I do too. It's beneficial. I would just say if anybody asked my opinion, that would be like if you're gonna lane filter, just do it smart and go slow.
Go slow. There's no
That's
rush
really all
to get through
that's
it.
really all I have to say about it.
You're still gonna end up at the stoplight anyways. There's no need to speed through it.
No.
Yeah.
And one thing one thing that still keeps me from like lane filtering all the time is like if I'm on a stale red light, because I've misjudged before. I might be going to lane filter, but then the light turns green, cars start moving, and now you're in between. So it's like,
I've had that happen before. So I just try to squeeze in as soon as I can.
Yeah, I do that.
In front.
But for the most part, if I'm coming up on a stale red, then I just don't filter.
Yeah, I usually just slow down because the cars will start moving soon anyways.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then should we move on to our next topic?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. But before we move on, we still are Revzilla affiliates.
Yes,
so
we
if you
are.
are looking for some new motorcycle gear, feel free to use our affiliate link down in the description.
Maybe a nice mesh jacket for the summer.
For the summer. Mesh jackets are very nice.
Mesh shoes, mesh gloves. I have some Airwave 3s that
maybe
work really good.
Those are moisture wicking t-shirts.
Yeah.
If whatever you need, Revzilla.com. Use our link down below. We get a little bit of a kickback from that.
Doesn't cost you anything extra.
Yep. And if you want to support the podcast without buying something, feel free to support us at buymeacoffee.com/tdtmotorcycles, where you can buy us some coffee by sending us money, which will be used to support this podcast instead of buying coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm very much looking forward to this weekend because we are taking a off-road clinic or off-road class, which is something we've talked about for a while. And our friend Emerson is also joining us on his KTM. And I'm really looking forward to it, but I am a little bit nervous because they do have a disclaimer saying there's a potential of dropping your bike in this class. So just be prepared because
it probably will happen.
Yeah. Like off-road riding, if you're planning on riding your motorcycle off-road, you're going to drop it. Yeah. I've already dropped mine once. It sucked at the moment, but it's not that big of a deal. And now if I drop it again, it probably wouldn't sting quite as much. I still don't want to drop it, but I'm just accepting the fact that it might happen if I am off-roading.
Probably will happen. Yeah.
I'm not. I forgot. I haven't looked exactly at what skills and things like that they're teaching at this.
I looked one time,
clinic.
just through the organization that it's with, and it seems like it was. I don't want to say straightforward, but it's going to be getting over some obstacles and riding in looser stuff and. I hope my one of my hopes for this class though is that we get to learn to do the cool elephant turn or the 180.
Yeah.
Stuff,
one of the big things I would like to kind of just get out of this class is just overall technique on the motorcycle to be able to hold it up and ride it better on it, basically be more confident off-road, because my biggest thing is coming up onto sharp turns, especially if they're downhill. Mm-hmm. So you have to brake, you have to lean in, or you have to counter lean into it and stuff. But there's a potential of your wheel skidding and things like that, especially if it's a loose gravel surface. Yeah. But those downhill sharp turns, that's the ones where I'm just get super
and it's
white knuckled.
Yeah, and doing that. It's not intuitive. It's very counterintuitive.
Yeah, it kind of is
to road riding, and so my biggest thing is the same as turns, especially sharp turns.
Yeah.
Picking lines, things like that. But yeah, it's that's my biggest thing. Because I would say it is mostly confidence for me. Is just one, not knowing what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Really, I watched some YouTube videos. Great. How often do I practice?
Yeah, exactly.
And because it's so counterintuitive, it's it's easy to mix things up in my head with what you're supposed to do. It's oh, do I counter lean this way? Do I put weight here?
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that. But I don't know. My big, while you're looking at if they're going to list what they're doing, I think it's, we're not going to be doing any crazy jumps or anything.
No, I think this is
mudding, but it's your intro to off-road.
I think it is just very more kind of basic off-road skills. Mm-hmm. And just like positioning, sitting on the motorcycle, like clutch control, I'm sure is going to be a big one, like shifting while standing up and things like that.
This was months ago, but I remember talking to Zeus down at Eurosports Utah about it.
Yeah.
And he said that the last one they did, you know, because people were very like intimidated. They were very like skittish with their bike and things like that. Oh my gosh, keep bumping the mic. Sorry. But but by the end of it, people were having a lot of fun. Like they were actually like playing with their bike.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I just want to be like more confident. I don't want to get like timid, especially when it comes to like feeling the wheels. Like, you know, we've ridden gravel before.
A lot of gravel. That's all we got.
Yeah. Like we both have like a fair, like not a great amount of off-road experience. We do have
intermittent off-road experience.
We do have like some off-road riding experience. We haven't gone like crazy whoops or single tracks or anything crazy, nor do I really want to, especially not on my bike.
Not on mine, no.
But we have ridden a lot of gravel roads, and if you have ridden gravel roads, you can feel your bike like squirming underneath you. It's not going in a straight line. It's not staying steady. You can feel it move. And I have to constantly remind myself that's like the bike wants to stay up. As long as it's moving, it's going to be staying up
as much as it wants to. Yeah,
like, it's not going to tip over just because the wheels slipping side to side a little bit.
Yeah,
it just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping like to kind of get over that mental block of it doing that. This training, it focuses on, so it's hosted by Sean Thomas, who's an internationally certified off-road instructor.
Quick note about him and Louise, I think she's doing the Saturday one. They were the same people that were at the GS 1300 release from BMW.
Awesome. And it looks like Louise does ride the BMW, the GS, which is pretty sweet. And the 4 skills that they were going to teach is the balance, braking, clutch, and throttle control are basically the biggest things through on how you use off-roading.
And it's just like any motorcycle ride.
Yeah, pretty much. So through a series of instructions, drills, and coaching, Sean and his team will hone and like combine those core elements to kind of build confidence in your skills off-roading. So that's like the biggest thing that I want to get out of this class, is to be able to just be more confident off-roading and not to be scared of my bike, like, you know, doing something that I wouldn't do on tarmac, like skidding. And I always hear this like on Reddit and like YouTube and just like from other like way more experienced riders, is that if you know how to ride off-road, if you're like even like decent at riding off-road, a lot of those skills can translate to helping you control your bike on asphalt, on tarmac as well. Because what if you hit like some gravel and your back wheels start sliding? What if you hit a puddle or something like that, lose some kind of control? At least you know how to counterbalance it and try to get it back up to where it needs to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, like no, I'm excited.
I'm really looking forward to it. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is probably how hot it's going to be that day. Oh
yeah, actually, I'm gonna look at that.
It is in Park City, so it's going to be a little bit cooler up there, but it's still supposed to be like a sunny day.
We have a high of 81 on Sunday in Park City.
That's a little bit better.
A little better, a little more tolerable.
90. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome time. I'm looking forward to it. But I think, since we haven't done the class yet, let's talk about our previous off-road riding experiences. And you want to start with some of the ones we've had?
I'll start with this, actually, is that like tying into like one of the things I'm apprehensive about, a little afraid of, is like, with my knee. We've been off-roading multiple times, and we have to stand. You got to use your knees and like shift your weight and everything like that. Like it's activated. So I'm like, I hope I didn't just spend a bunch of money on this class, so like
just have knee pain,
and then like not be able to participate. And
Is it hurting now? Has it been better?
It's been better. We went, there was that birthday thing with a group over the weekend, and we went bowling, and my competitiveness got me. And so I went in for I took bowling classes, everybody, for an elective. So, I tried to like do the form and everything like that. And I just messed my knee up.
Kind of flared it up a little bit.
Reminding me that I'm not in my 20s anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hopefully that gets better by Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, but sorry, you can go on.
Oh yes, but it's just like every day like that, or not every day, every time we've ridden since the knee injury. Like there's been like one little pinch of big pain. So,
Yeah.
you know,
That sucks.
or I got to like sit down or I got to stop. So
what was your first off-road riding experience?
My first like ever in my life or since we've been riding?
Since we've been riding.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know you said you rode dirt bikes and stuff when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was terrible at it and scared to death because I was on a bike way too big for me.
Yeah. So we'll stick to it now that you know how to ride. Yeah.
When was our first? It was, I think my first time riding off road, I think would have been our first time we went up to Evanston on that back.
Oh, okay.
Because didn't you and Emerson do that road?
Yeah, we did it not too long
East Creek?
ago.
Or
no, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it has a name.
Yeah. But that dirt road that crosses the border to Wyoming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty easy one to start with because it's pretty packed down.
It's pretty packed down. It is gravelly.
It does have a lot. Yeah. It does have a lot of gravel spots, but it's not too bad.
It's really not. Actually, I'm just going to interject really quickly. One thing that pisses me off too about off-roading in Utah, you know, I'm online. I see these really nice packed dirt trails. You know, and they're not like they're somewhat technical. They're not crazy single track stuff or anything, you know, but like, and it's like, where can I find that? I hate gravel. I hate riding in gravel.
Sucks.
And I just realized actually my very first time off-roading, since we've been riding together, was to the Golden Spike.
Okay.
On that Golden Spike Road.
Okay.
That was super washy.
Yeah. That was pretty much gravel plus washboard. Your bike's just like vibrating you to death the entire time.
I don't think I had traction whatsoever that entire road.
It's just squirmy. That was my first time off-roading too.
Okay.
That was, yeah. Well, not with you.
Oh.
I went by myself. Sorry.
Nah.
But I did it on my Honda.
It doesn't count by yourself.
I did it on my Honda CB500X. That was like the first like day ride I took on that bike basically. And I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I was white knuckling the entire time because
this thing you're not supposed to do.
It feels so weird. Like you're so used to just it being like steady and planted on the tarmac, and then you go onto washboard gravel, and all of a sudden everything on your bike just feels like it's all over the place. And I just got nervous. It was like just white knuckling it the entire time. And it did make me a little bit nervous, but at the same time I was like, okay, just don't lock your hands, just kind of relax and try to like slow and steady get through this. At least it's an easy road to ride because there's no hills, there's no like sharp turns. It's literally like it's a straight road line
out into the barren wasteland.
Yep.
Where you could film Fallout series.
And then they do have a couple of dirt roads you can take back. They follow the old, or they're in the place of where the old railroad used to be. Mm-hmm. Those were like the nice hard packed dirt.
Yeah.
And that was so much easier to ride, even though, it can still be loose like gravel in certain places.
Sure. Yeah.
But at least it's not like shaking you to death, or it doesn't feel like it's like all over the place as much. So yeah, that was also the first place I've ever done off-roading. And then I think after that it's, no, there's a few spots that I've gone to, up in the mountains before that I've like found some roads near where I live that I've off-roaded and stuff. And then I think a lot of the other times are just me and you.
Yeah. I'm sure there's places to ride off-road up in either of the Cottonwoods, but so much of it is like you turn off and you're in a campground or you're on private property. Like, it's like
it can be tricky.
Yeah.
But we are kind of lucky to have a lot of public land around here as well. Like both up here and especially in southern Utah, there's even more.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like one of the ones we did was we rode the Ant Flats. Up to Hardware Ranch. So Emerson and I just did that on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
just this week or on Sunday.
I don't know how weekend. I missed all those messages about a ride.
You missed out, man. That was a fun ride.
Yeah, it looked like it.
And I had a good time on that, but there was a couple of times I did cross some water that was like covering the water or the road a little bit from the snow melt. So I did that. But there was a couple of spots where both me and Emerson had like a couple of like whoop, where like the front wheel almost like skids from under you a little bit. Like you hear it on the comms like, just kind of trying to like figure it out a little bit. You can feel the back wheel lock up because you accidentally slammed the rear brake. It's like just don't, just the bike's gonna stay up. Just keep moving.
One of the other times we were off-roading together, and this was like, again, like I'm not a very confident off-road rider. I just don't do it enough. I don't know what I'm doing really. But we what was that road we went up? It was like super hilly. It was actually pretty technical. It was in the middle of
like past Hardware Ranch.
Oh,
it was on that same same ride that we did the Amp Flats.
Okay. Yeah.
I was honestly surprised both you and I were able to make it up that and then back down without.
And see, yeah, and well, that was my thing, right? Because I was like, for anytime we've ridden off road, I try to watch a video the night before of like just like quick reminders, like what to do and what not to do, you know. But like again, zero confidence pretty much. But we went up that one like really like crazy, pretty steep hill, and it was like chunky. It was chunky too.
Yeah,
like, not just rocky. It had like chunks of earth. Like, it was just it was weird. But like once like I was like okay, just go, and I realized like how little effort my bike was putting into that hill.
Your bike's a tractor.
I'm just like, this is what it was made for. This is like, and so like,
just climb.
Yeah. So I'm excited to put my bike in an environment like where it's actually does like excel for a large bike.
Yeah.
You know,
that makes sense.
So I'm excited for that. But like, again, with that dropping it, I'm scared.
Yeah. It's a pretty bike. It sucks. It would suck.
So I hope any drops that may happen are going to be soft.
Yeah.
So,
well, at least you got protection on it. So that's good.
On the engine. I'm worried about the tank.
I think with your metal hand guards and your engine guards, I think it might be enough just to keep the tank right off the ground.
I don't know, on the Triumph Scrambler 1200 like Facebook page, those handlebars do not catch the bike. Like those hand guards, like that metal beam snaps.
Oh, I need to get some bark busters for that then.
If that happens.
And when we did that ride, I was on my Honda.
Yeah, your Honda.
I didn't even know how to like that thing made it up.
Your Itchy Boots bike
I think I've made bigger strides on the Honda than I had on my Triumph.
Yeah.
So far, when it comes to certain things, because it was much lighter bike and it was also much cheaper, so I don't think I would feel as bad dropping it.
Right. Yeah.
But I really pushed that thing quite a bit, but I've never dropped it once.
Yeah.
I've already dropped my Tiger once.
That Honda of yours caught some air too.
Oh yeah, it did. It caught like a couple of inches.
Yeah.
On up in the Uintas that one time, which I was like, "The hell am I doing with this?"
It's like that feels like, and we're back to normal.
Yeah. And I remember you telling me, it's like, dude, I'm pretty sure you left the ground there for a second.
No, you did leave the ground for a second. Yeah.
But yeah, the rest. But yeah, we've done. I think we've done a good bit of off-road. We have like a basic understanding of what it does.
For us being confident. Like 99% mostly like asphalt, like on-road riders. I think we've gotten a fair amount, but I'm excited to like get in and learn. And that way, like next time we're on a ride and we see a dirt road that,
we're not nervous about it.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it, let's go.
I remember one of the times we were riding, it was up in the Wolf Creek Pass, in the Uintas, and we went through that like wildlife management area gate.
Oh yeah.
And it was like the super dusty packed like roads with that like some pretty good ruts from the like runoff in the middle.
Oh yeah.
I remember we dodged the ruts the first time, but then the second time we were coming back around, we were both trying to like carefully navigate them, and both of us had it where like we're on top and our bikes both slipped into the ruts.
I think we mentioned this on the last episode.
Did we? Okay.
Or one of the episodes we talked about it. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like both of us, I think, just bounced up with our foot and just kept going.
Right.
Okay, well, that happened. Interesting. But we didn't drop it. And honestly, if we did drop it, that's one of the better spots to drop it because it's not rocky.
Honestly, like if we had dropped those bikes in that rut, the rut was so deep, our bikes probably just would have done like a slight lean.
Yeah, 100%. So I feel like it sucks because when I dropped my bike, it was on a very rocky, loose rock road. So there's always like bigger and smaller rocks sticking out everywhere. I'm pretty sure it was one of the bigger rocks that managed to get to close enough to the tank to scratch it.
I guess
if it's just flat dirt, you're probably less likely to like scratch your bike because there's nothing to really like reach it.
I think one thing like I'm hoping with this class too is that like wherever we go, like where this like on the property where it's being taught is that it's it's not like rocky like that.
I'm really hoping it's not.
Like we can be off-road loose dirt, maybe some gravel, but like anything that's gonna like puncture anything.
Like anything big really. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind if there was some gravel so I can just learn how to control it better on that. Another one that we've done that I liked is when we went to Colorado, we did a fair bit of off-roading there just around the Telluride area. And
those were nice.
Those are very nice roads. It was one that was beautiful there. And two, I remember like once the road kind of like shrunk and it started going uphill.
Yeah.
We somehow managed to
Well,
ride
you went
that.
on because again, I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
And that's when the injury was fresh, and I was like, I gotta stop. Like,
Yeah.
I can't like get up for it, so I just waited. So.
Yeah. I remember that, and I was like, but
I ended up catching up to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then when we did our southern Utah trip, we did some off-roading and no, did we do some off-roading there?
No, we tried, but the gate was closed.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
so never mind on that.
I was like, yeah, wait, no. We didn't.
So we've done a little bit here and there, but nothing crazy or extensive. No BDRs or anything like that.
Not yet.
But not yet. But I'm really hoping that from this class to basically, like I said, gain more confidence and just learn how my bike feels.
Confidence is what I'm really going for.
Yeah.
Like I'm not expecting us to walk away from this and being like some like, crazy people who are just gonna chuck GSs like, down a dirt road at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But just at the very least, it's like we'll know like more about what to do, more like how to pick. I'm hoping they'll go over like picking good lines.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I think that's
too.
very important too.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So
and they might even go over like picking up your bike as well, because there's a few different techniques to do that, especially with our bikes being like heavy.
Yeah,
especially yours.
Well, I think this was it was like shortly after, or it was right before I bought my scrambler.
Yeah.
If I can find my words, geez, but there was like an off-road class being taught at Eurosports, like on the grass by the BMW building. There was like an instructor showing a class like how to pick up a GS.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering if that was if that's the same, if that was Sean or not. So we'll see.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Hopefully, if we do drop our bikes, they don't get injured.
Yeah,
because that would suck. But we do have protection on them, so hopefully it's just a light drops. If it does get hurt, hopefully it's just cosmetic and nothing important.
Yeah. Indicators are easy to replace. So.
Yeah. Mirrors are easy to replace.
Yeah. Just
I got bark busters now, and they're supposed to be pretty much indestructible. So hopefully they live up to the name. Yeah. Now I have engine guards and that massive skid plate that I put on my bike.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and with Sean too, like after talking to him at the GS release and Louise too, like they know their stuff. I looked them up a little bit afterwards, and with their off-road experience on those GSs there.
Dude, watching people ride those GSs off-road and like power sliding them around turns and doing stuff like that, it's insane. You're moving like 600 pounds of motorcycle. Yeah. Like it's a dirt bike. It's crazy.
Like it's a freaking mountain bike.
Yeah.
Like, geez.
Like it's pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah. But so I was like, so like I'm nervous for a few reasons that we've discussed, but like at the end, I think at the end of the day, like I know we're going to be in good hands. Like we're going to be being taught the right things.
Yeah. So. And like I bought my bike with the intention of riding it off-road. Yeah. Nothing crazy, but off-road nonetheless. Yeah. And I want to be able to do that. Yeah. If I wasn't planning on riding off-road at all, I would have bought like a sports tour so I can ride like
on a street-oriented Tiger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because there's no point in having a bike with a 21-inch front wheel and knobby tires if you're just going to ride on tarmac the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to get that done because that's exactly the specs of my bike, and it spends most of its time on the road. Yeah. So this kind of sets us up for the next episode. We're gonna basically talk about this class, what we learned, how we failed. We've resorted to doing 2-parters now.
Yeah, apparently. So we'll see. Well, yeah, I'm excited to.
I am too.
Talk about it on the next episode. It's just and see how it goes. It's this weekend, so. Let us, if you're a motorcyclist and you are primarily an off-road rider or have extensive off-road experience, feel free to send us an email and let us know of any tips and tricks and anything like that. This episode will air after the class.
Oh yeah, it will. Yeah.
But maybe for future, we still love to hear advice and all that kind of stuff. So, and if you have taken an off-road class before, let us know how your experiences went, what you learned, what you like, what you didn't like. Love to hear from you.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't drop your bike this week. So.
Yeah, hopefully no one dropped their bikes.
No one dropped their bikes.
Stay up on the bike.
Yep.
But anyways, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So thanks again, guys, and again, big thanks to Derek.
Yeah, huge shout out to Derek. Everyone, go give him business go.
Yeah, the
get
new
logos.
the new theme song and logo, that's all him.
Yeah.
So
Derek, thank you again. And thank you all so much for listening and watching if you're watching on YouTube. And we'll see you in the next episode.
take care.